The annual Harvest Festival in downtown Valparaiso happened last weekend. We have a look at the full fun festivities coming up.
Also last weekend, VU Haunt put on their annual haunted house in the ballroom. We have an inside look into the creation of this event.
Had some rain showers move through our area earlier this afternoon. I'm tracking our next chance of rain coming up here in just a few minutes.
We have that and more. This edition of The Shield starts right now.
Live from the VU TV studio in Schnabel Hall on the campus of Valparaiso University. This is The Shield on VU TV.
Thank you for joining us on The Shield. I'm Katie Nickolaou.
And I'm Blake Harms.
The Writing Center is looking to hire strong writers to serve as peer reviewers in the Christopher Center. This job opportunity is a valuable resource building or valuable resume builder for English majors. Applicants must take the theory and practice of tutoring writing class as a prerequisite to be considered as a writing consultant. For more information, contact Professor Selena Anderson.
Fall is a time for giving, and one organization is doing just that by bringing Socktober to the campus of Valparaiso University. Every day in the month of October, the Brothers of Alpha Phi Omega are collecting new or gently used socks to be donated to local homeless facilities. Socks are not the only thing being collected. You can also donate non-perishable foods. Collection times are from 9 to 11 a.m. and 5 to 7 p.m. in the Union's Chapel View Lounge.
In this week's Organization of the Week segment, we feature VU Haunt, a unique organization that thrives during the fall season. VU Haunt is a group dedicated to creating a haunted house every year for campus. We sat down with Catherine Gomez, the vice president of VU Haunt, to learn more about the organization.
I grew up watching horror movies all my life and I actually run haunted houses with my family, so it was nice to kind of continue that on. We usually start set up of the day of the haunted house, it's from noon to usually around 7, so a good 6 to 7 hours just setting up, but that doesn't include preparing what our theme is, getting our supplies and everything that it totally varies. Currently our main event is the haunted house, but I am planning to do more events, so in November we're planning to do a murder mystery dinner, so we'll see how that goes, and we'll see what the spring semester brings. We're open to many ideas. As long as you're open to the spooky world, we're ready to have you come.
Catherine also said that the group is considering creating an event for Valentine's Day, so it'll be sure to be on the lookout later this year for more information.
It's time to fall into fun. This past weekend was the annual Fall Harvest Festival at the Central Park Plaza in downtown Valparaiso. Erika Paige had the privilege to see what all the bustle was about.
Autumn is in full swing here in Northwest Indiana, and they're kicking off all the fun fall festivities right here in downtown Valpo at the Fall Harvest Festival.
This festival celebrated the last day of the farmers market. Plenty of people came down to get into the spirit of fall, from crafts to face painting to picking up homegrown goods.
I've been raising vegetables for about 35 years.
I stopped by Reggie's Veggies to check out the local produce.
We raise a full line of vegetables, anywhere from tomato to melons to sweet corn to peppers and potatoes, onions, all that stuff.
But if vegetables weren't your thing, many came out to see the Pooch Parade.
This is the second annual Pooch Parade. This is just the second year we've had it. So it's kind of new. Lakeshore Plaza has been around for 6 years. April of 2011, we've saved 3,000 dogs as of last week. So we hit the number 3,000.
Owners and their furry friends walked around downtown Valpo dressed up as loofahs, ballerinas, and witches to raise money for Lakeshore Paws. A contest for who had the funniest, scariest, and most creative costume was held after the parade. Since everyone's costume was so great, each pup won a prize. Lakeshore Paws also brought out a few dogs available for adoption.
We have Mocha here today. He will be ready October 30th, just in time for Halloween. And he is available. He's a shepherd, like a lab mix, and he'd be a perfect Halloween present for somebody.
Reporting from the Fall Harvest Festival, I'm Erika Paige.
And that festival must have done the trick because it's certainly feeling more like fall than it did yesterday. We have Erika in the studio today. So Erika, are we going to see any warmer temperatures, or is it looking like fall is here to stay?
Well, it's starting to look like fall is here to stay. We're on a bit of a roller coaster in the temperatures. Today we only had a high of 52 degrees. Now that is about 8 degrees below average for this time of year, but we are on track now for those fall-like temperatures. Now, the other big story in the news right now, as far as weather is concerned, is our rainfall. Yesterday, we only saw 1/10 of an inch, but we have surpassed that here in Valpo today. We've already seen 1.8 inches of rain here. That's definitely going to help bring us back up to that normal amount that we should be seeing for this time of year. And it actually set a record for today as well. Now, the rain system has moved off and to the east, and that is the main player that we saw earlier this afternoon, but the next chance of rain is this line right here, and we'll be tracking that here in the next couple of minutes.
Sounds great. Thanks, Erika. After recovering from natural disaster, that's Puerto Rico's current mission after being impacted by Hurricane Maria. We have an inside look at their recovery efforts and the challenges that come along coming up after the break.
Plus, we have updates on rebuilding efforts after wildfires ravaged portions of California, leaving many homeless. Stick with us.
In a world where entertainment is at risk, one man is given a mission, but he is about to face his biggest challenge yet. He will race against the clock and open doors to new possibilities that will save weekends as we know it.
What are you doing?
I'm looking for free movies.
Oh, I'll help you with that.
Just go to movies.valpo.edu. They have all the best movies, including The Hobbit and 22 Jump Street.
Whoa, it's that easy?
It's that easy.
Grab some popcorn, grab some buddies, and watch movies.valpo.edu's great selection.
What is passion? At Valpo, it's something that pours out of us uncontrollably. It's a late night shot of caffeine, cramming for finals, a jam session with friends. It sees deep into space, turns big stuff into small potatoes, floats boats and floods the senses. Passion is alive, it has a heartbeat, and it lives in you. How do we know? Because at Valpo, passion is who we are.
The U.S. military mission to Nigeria and investment into the region is far from insignificant. $100 million of investment has been put into a new drone base and hundreds of U.S. servicemen on the ground. Their aim is to control a ring of instability in the Sahel. David McKenzie reports.
Simply put, the war on terror isn't coming to the region, it's already there. A $100 million investment in a new drone base outside of Agadez, Niger, has put hundreds of U.S. service members on the ground in what U.S. Africa Command says is a strategic base of operations in a ring of instability. Just how big is that ring? Well, the operating area of U.S. surveillance is the size of the continental United States. Niger itself, nearly twice the size of Texas. It's in this vast, expansive Sahel region that several jihadi groups operate, many with ties to Al-Qaeda and increasingly ISIS. But the Sahel isn't the only front. Throughout the continent, U.S. Africa Command is also deeply engaged in intelligence and counter-terror operations against Boko Haram, a Nigerian terror group with links to ISIS, and Al-Shabaab, Al-Qaeda-linked militants in Somalia. These may be the first U.S. combat deaths in Niger, but for years, African nations have been battling insurgents on the ground throughout the continent.
As of Saturday morning, Puerto Rico now has more than 21% of its power restored, and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers says they're not stopping until the whole island has electricity again. Puerto Rico's governor has pledged to have power almost totally restored by mid-December, but the Army Corps says that's a tight timeline. Hurricane Maria decimated Puerto Rico's aging power grid and also left residents without clean water, medicine, and other critical supplies. It's so bad, hospitals are forced to treat patients in the dark. Residents swelter without air conditioning, and food warms in uncooled refrigerators. And many people who can't go to their homes are camped out in shelters like classrooms. Another reason students can't go back to school. Polo Sandoval reports.
This schoolyard should be bustling with activity at the height of the fall semester. Not today, not since Hurricane Maria threatened and later devastated Puerto Rico. Like the island's other 1,100 public schools, the doors to this high school have been closed since September 18th. Today, the only signs of life are on the other end of the campus. Room 204 serves as Margarita Cosme Fuentes' temporary home. This 52-year-old grandmother of 11 tells me, from one moment to another, she lost her house and everything in it. Her grandson, Ezequiel, led us up the mountainside to show us what's left of his family's homes. There isn't much else he can do these days. Like most of the students on this island, a return to class may provide a welcome escape from reality. He says the first thing he'll do when he gets back to class is hug his friends, but he doesn't know when that will be. As long as displaced families like his are using schools as shelters, classes can't resume. The Department of Education announced Friday that some schools on the island would reopen on Tuesday, but the teachers at this school say that won't happen here. We have a lot of work to do, says Roxana Miranda, a drama teacher anxious to welcome her high schoolers back to class. While there is optimism, there is no real timeline for when students will walk down these halls again. Even if displaced families are resettled, there are still plenty of obstacles. Classrooms are in disrepair, roads are impassable impassable because of mudslides, and there is still no running water in the town, leaving families to struggle to survive. Margarita says she is staying strong and wants to see her grandchildren back in a classroom, just not this one. Polo Sandoval, CNN, Corozal, Puerto Rico.
Continuing the discussion of Puerto Rico, Governor Ricardo Rossello delivered an address to the locals and those who are looking to help. Take a look.
There has been a lot of work done, and we've recognized that, but there's still a lot of work to go ahead. There's things that we need to surface from the emergency. We'll be talking about those issues, what our pressing needs are at the current moment, but also looking forward to recovery and rebuilding effort in Puerto Rico. I think this is critical. You know, in these emergencies, things can might have the appearance that they're stabilizing at one point, but you always have future problems that can arise, such as public health emergencies and otherwise.
Following two subsequent hurricane hits from Irma and Maria, the majority of Puerto Rico is still without electricity and necessities such as food and clean water. Efforts are being made to help the island recover, but like what the United States has seen from the devastation caused from Harvey, recovery is a slow, long process.
Residents are picking up the pieces in many parts of Northern California after devastating wildfires. Rick Carhart has more on how the people are rising from the ashes, determined to rebuild.
We had about 9 minutes to get out, and it came through quickly.
George Nichols watched a wall of fire coming right at him.
We grabbed the important papers and things that we could grab and the valuables that we could grab in the time period that we had.
A look from above shows the extent of the destruction. Some houses saved, many, including Nichols, not spared.
I knew it was gone. I mean, you could see it was just nothing but metal.
He lives half a mile from the Four Corners in Bangor, where the feed store burned to the ground.
It was completely demolished. The next 3 houses in a row were completely burned out.
As they return to assess the damage, many residents are determined.
Some of these people have been here for 50 or 60 years, 70 years, 100 years, and I don't think they're going to go anywhere.
Fortunately, help is on the way in the form of an officially declared health emergency.
The county wants to and is going to be able to access some additional resources to help residents from the LaPorte and Cherokee fire.
As huge chunks of land lay blackened, the will to return is undamaged.
There's a lot of hard scrabble people that live here that are willing to fight to get themselves back to where they were.
Including one 72-year-old who won't be defeated.
I'm going to rebuild. We shall overcome. That's the way that people think about it around here.
Some wildfire evacuees in California are taking their first looks this weekend at what's left of their homes. But they're also making sure to say thank you to the firefighters who fought to save their houses. Cornell Bernard reports from Santa Rosa.
Firefighters came for pancakes. What each of them got was a standing ovation.
How could you not be grateful for somebody who's worked so hard for you?
First responders were guest of honor at this pancake breakfast hosted by Boy Scout Troop 32 in Santa Rosa. Donations were collected for fire victims. This day gave thanks to those who battled the firestorm.
It really chokes me up to see this level of support for all our departments. Just driving down the highway, seeing every overpass is just covered with signs. It's really touching.
Homeowners are returning to their Fountain Grove neighborhood for the first time.
We raised our 2 kids here.
Alan and Erika Williams can't believe the place they called home is now rubble.
It was unbelievable. Even just driving up the parkway and seeing everybody's home. You know, all these homes that had been here, we've lived here for 18 years.
Some keepsake Christmas decorations and a garden statue are all that's been salvaged so far. More than 30 homes on this street reduced to ashes. Some neighbors still finding signs of life on their property, like this fish pond. Somehow, these miniature koi survived the fire. Neighbor Laureen Worley found this silver serving fork, a wedding gift.
We just wanted a couple little nuggets, and this is one of those. This might even just be enough right here.
Residents must show ID to return to their properties. The Williams vow to return one day.
We're going to rebuild here and stay because this is our home.
They say that could take years. In Santa Rosa, Cornell Bernard, ABC 7 News.
Coming up after the break, Erika Paige has a full forecast.
Plus, we have a breakdown of this past week's Crusader sports. Stick with us.
Well, I think that's all we need. Thank you so much for coming in. We'll be in touch.
Okay, this is it. Just shake his hand and walk out with your head held high. Don't mess this up. Thank you. Nailed it. Don't let a bad handshake get in the way of getting the job you want. Find out more at the Career Center.
VUTV, your campus, your story.
Well, we've had some rain showers moving through our area, but we're going to see a little bit of a break here in the next couple of hours. The next time we're going to be expecting rain in our area is overnight tonight. We're going to see those rain showers return to our area. They're going to stick with us through tomorrow, and we're actually going to get a little bit of a break then by tomorrow afternoon and into the evening. Now, some of the other concerns we have to deal with are some gustier winds that are going to be moving through our area, as well as a lot cooler temperatures. We're going to really start to notice that, especially as we head into Wednesday. But for tonight, temperatures are going to be down near 44 degrees. We're going to have winds out of the west at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. The gusty conditions really start up tomorrow. We're going to see gusts up to 30 miles an hour and highs all the way up near 57 degrees for tomorrow. That rain sticking with us throughout the day on Tuesday, I should say, and we're going to see temperatures back down near fall-like temperatures in the 50s with lows all the way down just above freezing, actually. So it's going to be a lot cooler, and we're really going to start to notice those fall-like temperatures moving back into our area.
Definitely. And now I have an intramural football game at 8 p.m. Is it going to rain?
It looks like we're going to stay dry and clear for 8 p.m. The rain showers don't look like they're going to return to our area until about 11.
Well, that's what I like to hear. Thanks, Erika. After the break, we'll have a full breakdown of this past week's Crusaders sports. It's been an exciting week in Valpo sports. Let's get right to the action. This week, the women's volleyball team battled both Drake and UNI. First, the Crusaders swept Duke in a 3-0 series on the road Friday night, thus improving their overall record to 12-10 on the season and 4-5 in the Missouri Valley Conference. During this game, senior Taylor Grabowski tied for the team honors on Friday with 12 kills and .55 hitting. This hitting percentage was the best of her career. The next day, Valpo traveled to UNI in what would be a hard-fought battle. As the Crusaders took on number 25 UNI, Valpo was the underdog. However, they put up a valiant fight. UNI started off by winning the first game of the series. However, Valpo came back and won the next two by a slim margin. After that, it was all UNI, resulting in a 2-3 loss for the Crusaders. During this series, freshman Brittany Anderson registered her 6th consecutive double-double and finished the night with 49 assists and 10 digs. All in all, it was a very exciting week for the team. The women's volleyball team will return home this Friday to host Loyola at the Arc at 7 p.m. And even though Valpo's football team had their bye weekend this past Saturday, Brownfield was still in use as the women's soccer team took on Illinois State on Wednesday. In what would prove to be a low-scoring game, the Crusaders fell to Illinois State in a 1-0 loss. The Crusaders then traveled to Indiana State in an effort to rebound after the loss to Illinois State. The second half of this game saw all of the action for the Crusaders. In the 65th minute, junior Corey Griffith got free to head in a long free kick from Grace Rogers, scoring Valpo's first point of the game. Indiana State's Alina Steffen scored, tying the game at 1 apiece. Valpo then responded in the 85th minute as sophomore Maria Broker took one touch in the box and then sent an effort toward the right post where Corey Griffith deflected it and sent the shot into the goal, giving the Crusaders a 2-1 lead and eventually the victory. With this 2-1 win, the Crusaders advanced to 9-8-0 record in the season with a 3-3-0 record in the Missouri Valley Conference play. This win also secured a Missouri Valley Conference tournament berth for the team. The men's soccer team also had a game this past Saturday as they traveled to Central Arkansas. Both teams scored midway through the first half. After the pass from Rafael Minteguez, Valpo's Aiden Garcia buried the ball into the lower left corner of the goal, scoring Valpo's first point of the game. Shortly after the half, the Crusaders regained the lead after Ramon Howell chipped it in over to Mendez again, who scored from 15 yards out, putting the Crusaders ahead 2-1. It was downhill after that, though, as the Bears scored the final 2 goals of the game, resulting in a 2-3 loss for the Crusaders. After this, though, Valpo moved to 7-6-1 on the season, while moving to 3-3-0 in the Missouri Valley Conference. The men's team will compete at home for the final 3 matches of the season, beginning with Tuesday's showdown with Missouri State. Kickoff is slated for 4 p.m. at Brown Field. And the men's football team has an exciting matchup here at home for family weekend as they take on Morehead State. Kickoff is scheduled for 1 p.m. at Brownfield, so be sure to go over there and get your tickets. Students, of course, are always admitted free. Family tickets are $10 a piece, so highly recommend going out. It should be great. We'll be right back with a final look at your weather forecast. Stick with us.
Rain will continue throughout the area as we head into tomorrow, but we're back to those fall-like temperatures, which I know a lot of people are excited about.
Definitely.
And I've heard rumors that there may see our first snowflakes this weekend. What do you think about that?
We could see some rain mixed with snow, but the chances are pretty slim later on this weekend, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see what the weather does for us.
I like to hear that.
Yeah, I'm holding out hope. I really want to see snow. I really want to get into winter, but you know, that's just me. Most people don't agree with that. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. For Blake, Erika, and myself, we thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week on The Shield.